Thanks for joining us this hour. Nice to have you here. We have a story that we've been working on for a very long time now. For going on a year and a half, we have been digging into the Russian attempt, not just to interfere in this last election, but to interfere for the benefit of Russia's chosen candidate. That candidate, of course, is now the president, and his administration has been dogged since before day one by questions of whether his campaign was involved in the Russian intelligence operation that tried to influence our election. Two members of the president's campaign, including the former national security advisor, have now pled guilty to lying about their contacts with the Russians. But tonight we're going to take a step back to an intriguing and in many ways prescient document at the heart of the Trump-Russia story. We're going to step back and look at the 35-page Trump-Russia dossier. And depending on which way the news is blowing, the allegations contained in this document can sound outlandish, or they can sound freakishly spot on. Where did this dossier come from? What have we learned from it? What does it yet have to say? This is some of what we've learned.
Are there any Russians here tonight? Any Russians?
They've conducted Watergate 2.0.
Вот эти вбросы – это очевидная фальшивка.
This fake dossier was made up.
And I don't use the term dossier. These were field reports. Is there something here that I could verify?
I call it the Russian hoax. It's all fake news. I am not involved in Russia. President of the United States.
It started in the spring of 2016 with a former British spy whose name was almost too James Bond to be true. Steele, Christopher Steele.
And we will make America great again. Thank you, everybody.
If you were looking to investigate Donald Trump's alleged Russia connections, Christopher Steele would seem like the perfect fit.
He can tell you off the top of his head the leading members of the Russian mafia, people who have influence in the Kremlin and so on.
Nigel West knows Christopher Steele. He's a writer and historian whose specialty is British intelligence. West says that Steele was MI6's man in Moscow in the early 1990s.
And thereafter he ended his career as the head of the branch that trains new entry intelligence officers. And that's actually considered to be a pretty important role.
After retiring, Steele started a new company called Orbis Business Intelligence, located in this building in London. Orbis specialized in getting corporate executives deep, targeted intel on foreign countries they were dealing with. Steele's specialty was Russia.
I have listened to his presentations on what he calls the kleptocracy. This is the Putin regime and the way that it has effectively looted the former Soviet Union. And he is the go-to guy if there was anybody who wanted to conduct due diligence investigations. He knows every personality.
Jonathan Weiner is a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Law Enforcement in the Clinton administration. He says he first met Christopher Steele in Washington in 2009.
He knew more about Russian organized crime, Russian financial crime, Russian money laundering, Russian corruption.